So this is my boy Kobe. He's with me today, another school day. So what I'm doing with Kobe today, a bit different to normal now, is just me and him, one-to-one. And when I first saw Kobe back end of last year, sort of 9-10 months old, and the guy was a whirlwind. He was a big guy even then, so he was very strong. And his socialization skills were pretty poor. So when he saw another dog, he was on the dog, around the dog, biting the dog. It wasn't aggression, but it was very disrespectful. And he was just completely over enthusiastic with the whole thing. Didn't know what to do, didn't know how to communicate. And he was wrong, you know, everything about him and the way he interacted was very wrong. And although he wasn't aggressive, he was getting to that age where he was testing the boundaries with other dogs. That's his natural instinct, was to test the boundaries. And if he had have behaved like that with a dog that really didn't want him to be that way and really didn't take kindly to that, then it could have progressed into aggression between the two. So I worked with him an awful lot with Roscoe to begin with. Obviously Roscoe won't be reactive. Roscoe will do as I tell him to do. So we handled that, and we worked through that. We got the initial excitement this way. We got the initial excitement out of the way. Worked on the socialization. Got him working with the other dogs, and then his testosterone kicked in. So the poor guy, he just went completely off his head. It was all very intense, very emotional, very packed full of hormones. It was sad to see. But anyway, been castrated, we're past all that. Started seeing him again just once a week, and now we're flying. You know, we're so good. His behaviour is just wonderful now. The thing with Kobe, he's always going to be a little bit of a trigger, a little bit on the excited side of things. So 1 minute he's fine, everything's cool, give him a new environment or something new, you know, to sort of take his interest, and he will go a little bit over the top. That's his character. That's the way he is. He can be a little bit wired, that's just him. But it's keeping it in the area where he can still take direction from the handler, which is where we're at. So I'm not concerned about him at all, and his socialization is absolutely fine. He is respectful with other dogs. He knows how to understand and read their body language, so that's all great. The only thing I think that does happen sometimes is on his regular walks around home, because it's so familiar. A familiar environment, a familiar walk will very often bring out the worst in your dog. They can get territorial, and they can be less respectful towards the dogs that they meet because they're so familiar with the area. They kind of think a little bit that it's their area as well. So you may sometimes get the worst behaviour on those over-familiar walks, which is why it's always so good to vary your walks and go as many different places as you possibly can. Keep that brain stimulated with different sights and sounds and environments, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to head down here. So today I brought him out on his own because I have had him with Frank. Frank's very fast, so Frank, because of his speed and the way that Frank is, he will trigger a dog to be reactive. If there's anything still there at all, Frank will trigger it. So he's a brilliant tool, is Frank, to work on dogs' behaviour, socialisation, what triggers them to react, etc. But I don't want to encourage Kobe to play rough and be rough, which Frank is quite rough. So he's worked with Frank and he still takes my direction even when they're playing rough, which is great. That's what I need, but I don't want to encourage that kind of rough play every time he sees another dog. So he's on his own with me today because he lives on his own. Well, not on his own, he lives with a family obviously, but it's not another dog. So it's got to be, when they're walking him, it's just him. There's not another dog with him. So he needs to get used to walking like that. That's a beautiful stick, darling. He so loves his sticks. So today is just me and him. Now what I normally do is work on the socialization side. So, oh God, you're breaking my heart with that stick. Work on the socialization side. So it's very much when we meet new dogs, it's getting that meet and greet sorted. Well now, because I know Kobe's absolutely fine with that, on this walk today I'm going to be popping him on a lead when I see people, because I want to work on that lead work. He's still a bit strong, so I still want to work on keeping that brain engaged in me, in the handler. That's what he needs. So that's what we'll be doing today. I'm at 4 mark, so as you can see it's hot, still early morning, so it's not too bad. Lots of shade here. Kobe does love water, so I'm going to let him have a little play with the water, help to keep him cool. But yeah, 4 mark's great because in these woods you've got so much shelter, and there is that little bit of the water that they can go and paddle in just to cool off. It's really important to keep them cool. Try and keep off the tarmac pavements and the you know, like concrete paths and stuff as much as possible. Keep on grass because it's cooler for their feet, and very often they can just throw themselves down in the shade of grass, and that helps to cool their bellies down as well. Always cool them from their bellies, not from their shoulders or from their back, from their bellies. That's the best place to cool them. And also paddling with their legs. They get the cold on their legs and their feet, and that helps to keep them cool as well. So yeah, this is my work with Kobe. As you can see, he's really good. He's great on a one-to-one, and yeah, just going to get some more practice in with that lead work. Get him just that little bit more responsive on the lead. But yeah, I love him. He's fun. All right, see you later.